So the big what became what to do, kind of wellness, not in the sense that we built a wellness center, but the forest, the water, the air, the nature, people coming there, just breathing.
Hi everyone, hi Paul. Nice to sit with you again here to talk about your journey, your story of Sonho De Urso. And today we are talking about what? A little bit more in details. Past, present, and the future ideas and vision for the place. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Matej. Thank you. And yes, we talked a lot about why, and what happened in London, and why another way, why looking for something out of the city. But initially, the idea was to have a kind of a place where we can just be with nature, and maybe have things like yoga and some events, and a very natural way of life, our own produce, stuff like that. Yeah, the idea was never to be auto-sustainable. The idea was always to share our processes, with everybody, with normal society, not to be out of society, to be part of society, but to also have a life with nature. So the first thing was to take the cattle off the pastures and allow the forest to take over. Yeah. So there was already a little bit of forest there. There was 20% of the land was forested at the very top of the land that I had bought. Rather than planting, rather than bringing in trees and plants and using scientific agronome experience, just decided to allow nature to do it in its own way. Of course, it takes longer for just leaving it to be, but it's more perma, it's more natural, it's more organic. So it's more, the idea was to have a permacultural experience forest, and just allow the forest to do its own thing, because there was a bit of water there, so the wind, the water, the birds, animals coming and going, let them just do it. And that's what's happened over the last 23 years. We've got instead of 20 hectares of forest and 80 hectares of pastures and open land, now we've got the opposite. We've got some 15 hectares of open land, pastures, planting, fruits, stuff like that. And 85 hectares of that has been forested. Over 1 million trees, basically. Yeah. But just allowing nature and the elements to do it, and observing. Yeah. And so that was the first thing. Yeah. Then we took a small part of that land and started to grow organic produce, and became members and certificated after 3 or 4 years, 3.5 years. One of the organic organizations in the state of Minas Gerais, called Orgânicos de Mantiqueira. Mantiqueira is like a big forested mountain area where we are, and there's an organic organization there. So we became part of that, and then we were selling organic bananas, organic strawberries, potatoes, and a few other fruits, and so on. Yeah. Years down the line, that didn't really quite work out. Decided to close that and not be certificated anymore, and focus on building some houses and renting houses for wellness. So the big what became what to do, kind of wellness, not in the sense that we built a wellness center, but the forest, the water, the air, the nature, people coming there, just breathing, being themselves, being able to have peace, quiet, the real silence with nature, and watching animals and nature do its thing. And we had a number of, several clients who were there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, curing themselves of cancer, mental issues, skin issues, physical problems, emotional problems, without actually calling ourselves a wellness center. It became kind of like, do it yourself, fix yourself via nature center, and that was really satisfying. I think that's the most satisfying thing about the place. We can just be with the place. We don't have too many people coming and going. And those that do come and stay, they actually come and stay for the right reasons. They love the nature, they love the water, now we have a lot of water because of the forest, and so the main what became kind of like nature self-healing process, yeah. So this on the agenda, we still have a little plan for a spa, a wellness spa, but it's almost like not necessary, yeah, because it may attract too many people and then too much movement and cleaning up the rubbish behind people and so on. I don't know if it's really worth it. Now we've decided to plant over the last 4 or 5 years. So we've got honey, organic honey, our own honey, and it's fantastic honey. The next step now is to start producing propolis. We're selling a little bit of the honey, but it's not commercial as yet. I think we need to get to 2 or 3 tons a year, then we can start commercializing it in a bigger sense to the cities like São Paulo or Rio. At the moment, we're selling locally, but the moment we harvest the honey 2 or 3 times a year, it just disappears. It goes. It's nothing left. People are usually waiting, and it's almost like butter. It's so rich. But and the bees are really happy, and we've got. Oranges, lemons that are growing now, and next year we should be harvesting. And now we're also trying. The idea with oranges and lemons is to commercialize that in the future and sell that. Yeah. We're also trying with blueberries, and they're growing really well as a test at the moment, just for ourselves, not commercializing as yet. Also with garlic and a few other fruits and a few other veggies. For commercial purposes in the future. Right? So it's almost like an agriturismo, if you like. People come, they stay for a short period, for a long period, and they can sample some of our produce. Definitely the honey, they love that. Yeah, our bananas are amazing. So we have a number of fruits for ourselves, but to commercialize, I was talking about oranges, lemons, blueberries, and a few other veggies. Those are like onions and garlic. That's more for commercial purposes. But for ourselves, we have a number of different things that we grow. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Syntropic kind of garden as yet. It still needs to get there. It's not biodynamic as yet, but it's organic. It's eco. Yeah, I like to hold the whole concept ecological, because I won't lie. There've been times we've used 1 or 2 little tiny, very light chemicals to help with the illnesses that come along with the wind and the extreme rains and so on. Yeah. But we're pretty much clean, super clean, if you like. Yeah, we hardly ever use any kind of chemical-based produce. Yeah, on the land or on the fruits or stuff like that. Yeah.
A few days ago, I was actually going through some of my personal material, photos, videos recorded through the last, I think, 2 decades. And it was actually 2014 when I visited the farm. I know that you had it before quite for a while, but you were not so involved. And I remember quite clearly that at that time you actually decided to hands-on jump into this challenge, yeah? And the dream of the bear, of a bear, yeah, Paul. So I saw many things that you were facing, and processes that you started at that time, yeah. Hopefully this year we are planning to meet again there. So maybe we can share some interesting material, and for all of you who are interested also to share how it was before, more than 10 years ago. But I'm interested. You share with me a few times, but I'm sure that also listeners, the ones who are also watching this video, are interested actually what was happening between. I know that you you had to organize the infrastructure. I remember quite clearly what kind of problems you had with water, yeah, because tubes were not prepared correctly, yeah? So the cows were actually walking on top of them, yeah, and all sort of challenges, yeah, I will say. But I also know that actually you have decades of experience from property development, so you know how to do things commercially in London, in Spain, Slovenia. Most probably I forgot a place or two as well. But doing this kind of a concept, yeah, in a place that it's not the place that you know, as well as London, as well as Slovenia, yeah. What kind of a challenges you actually faced, and how, you know, what kind of solutions you applied, yeah. I'm personally very curious, yeah, how you came to where you are now.
Well, in the beginning, I had a partner, a minority partner. They had a small part because I needed someone to administrate the farm. And I wasn't really involved for the first 10 years. I bought it in 2003, 22 years ago. And for the first 10 years, until 2012, a friend, a partner, was running the place. We were making decisions together. I was financing the place, but he was running it. So I wasn't really involved. But then we decided to part, go different ways, and I took over. And I had projects in Spain, as you say. I had projects in Slovenia, in London, and in São Paulo. And I remember I said to my mother, I don't know how to be a farmer. What am I going to do? And I haven't got time to be a farmer. What's your opinion, view on this? So she, with all her experience, said that, running a company can be profitable, can be successful, but at the end of the month, at the end of the week, at the end of the day, usually you end up being, frustrated or tense or stressed, and there are issues, and it's difficult. But running a farm may be even more difficult today, as a small farm, than running a company. And there will be all kinds of issues, she said. However, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you normally see results, on a physical level, not, virtual or psychological or just profit. But you see results, and there is satisfaction. There is satisfaction that working in a company cannot, running a company cannot match. Unless, of course, you're just chasing millions. And that's your goal, right? To have money and buy assets. But actually building an asset, as I found out, is completely different than to buying an asset. So I wasn't sure which way to go, whether to continue with the projects in São Paulo, in London, in Slovenia, or whether to give some focus to the farm. But then I decided that, I had so much time behind me in the cities, major cities, working. So I thought, why not have the experience of land and forest, which I always wanted. I always liked the elements, being close to the elements, clean air, clean water, fire, So the first thing I did is I built some more houses. The one or two that we had, I fixed them up and added fireplaces everywhere. So we had fire and water and clean air, and clean earth was already there because we are organic for a number of years now. So they had really good elements to be with. So there were many difficulties with the infrastructure, the water systems, the water holes, the tubing, kilometers of it, and then also the electricity. We had a terrible system, so that had to be completely redone. And then when I say electricity, the transformer coming to the farm, and we had to wait a year and a half for that with the local company. And at that time, it just wasn't viable to go the solar route. It would have taken 37 years to repay the investment at that time. Things have changed in Brazil. There are now many companies providing solar solutions, energy, and it's better. And I've already installed in 1, 2, 3 of the houses solar systems. And I'm looking to, in the future, hopefully maybe make one all-in-one system for energy, solar energy, or maybe continue house by house. We'll see how that goes. But the majority of money actually went into infrastructure, roads. There was so much erosion everywhere. So I didn't know about roads and building roads and how to fix roads and so on. I had to learn all that stuff. And how to deal with, and then I wanted more animals, so we didn't get rid of all the cows. We've kept, we've got 10 cows. We've kept a few cows, but the majority of the cows, we took them off the land. But we've kept a few cows for our own milk, our own cheese, stuff like that. And they're not for the guillotine. They're just part of the family now. They come to the door and they say hello and every day. And then we had 6 or 7 horses and sheep and lots of chickens and geese and dogs and cats. So it's been very much like, old MacDonald had a farm. It's like a bit of that going on. And so testing not just with the elements and forest and nature and how that speaks to us, but also with animals, how they speak to us if we give them space. For 4 or 5 years now, they were just roaming freely, and it was very interesting, the experiment, not having them enclosed. More recently, I've downsized on the number of animals, and we've gone more down the route of renting houses. I also sold parts of the land slowly to very carefully selected families who now became neighbors. But the idea was always to have a kind of like a modern digital professional tribe of people living together, the 6 or 7 families. Actually, now there's 11 families living on this land, or approximately 97 hectares it was. But I've sold more than half of it and reinvested that money into the land. I wouldn't have had the money, the amount of money it takes to actually develop rural land and have it running efficiently on an organic level. I think most people just haven't got a clue. Unless you just leave it and live like a jungle life, of course, and have a hut. But if you want to have systems to receive people and have an infrastructure for electricity, for energy, put it that way, for water, for heating, for everything else, and road system, all of this takes a lot of investment, a lot of energy. One of the big issues was actually finding labor. It took me, from 2012, when I first took over from my partner, the running of the place, it took me to 2014, 15, to 2016, almost 4 years to find the right people to work with me. When you came and you saw one of the houses being built further down in the valley, that was João Paulo and his team of 6 people who were building that house. But that didn't work out. I had so many issues with that house later that I had to fix. It took me, and you saw bulldozers coming and going to fix the roads and stuff. But a lot of issues for the first. I've been running the place now, for 13 years now. But for the first 7, 8 years, it's continuous battle with the local companies, with labor, with what to do, learning the weather conditions, and so on and so on and so on.
Maybe now somebody listening, thinking, what's the connection between, digital marketing, branding, and Sonho De Urso and things happening there. So can you share maybe what design principles, rituals, or philosophies shape actually the experience of guests? Because as you said before, now rentals became a important part of the concept of the Sonho de Urso. So there is a connection. Yeah, maybe some people can't see it quickly, but I'm quite sure that you put a lot of focus and attention also on design part and different principles. Yeah.
The main principle which connects, the main principle in play at Sonho de Urso on the farm is the same as the principle that you and I use with branding and the company and for digital marketing, yeah, and providing business solutions. Yeah, less is more. Going deeper, not going wider. Yeah. So on the farm, it was about understanding the forest, the ecosystem, the bioma, and allowing it to be and observing to really understand the essence. And from that essence, then select 2 or 3 elements that really are important and focus on those. Those that organically the land and the forest are presenting. Those that organically the weather conditions will work with, rather than going against elements, against the forest, against weather conditions. And when you and I are consulting with our clients, is the same thing. We're looking for that essence. We're looking for that less is more, for that depth where organically things will go with the market, so we don't have to reinvent the brand or reinvent the product or create bullshit campaigns every second or third month round, because that's hard work. Yeah, I know people have to do it, but it's and sometimes you can bring money in very quickly, but then you have to do it again because people realize very quickly, well, actually that's not really sustainable. So how to find a sustainable way of running a place, So what happened after a number of years when people, the same thing, sorry. So it was the same, it wasn't just the roads and infrastructure. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. It's never going to be perfect. But, to make it something that you can work with, something you can live with, something that you can walk on, sit on, sleep on, and the people who come there will feel comfortable, and enjoy the nature. So building the houses or renovating the houses, both, it was the same principle. A lot of money and a lot of time and energy understanding what's happening with those houses to create a formula so that each house is different. Each one is actually a space where people, when they walk into, they feel like they can just cook and relax and sleep and read and be themselves and disconnect if they want to. Connect with themselves and nature. That was the principle. Again, less is more. Less object, less ideas, less things to occupy your mind, and creates space. So that people don't have to worry about time so much and running. Create space so that we can all, not just the forest, but human beings can also connect, first of all with the self and then with things and nature around them. So less is more, and going deeper rather than wider, and looking for that essence. Yeah, when you and I are talking to clients, we're trying to find out where the real problem is. If it's a campaign, or if it's a product, or if it's an issue that's been bothering them with Facebook or Google Ads or something else for a while, and get to the bottom of that and fix it for them for the long term, not just for tomorrow. So it's the same thing on the farm. Yeah. So if you like, the whole thing has become a brand without planning it to be a brand. Why? Because more than 50% of the clients who come to stay, they come back. At least 70 to 80% they come back. the loyalty is just amazing. Yeah. So I don't have to do like marketing over and over and over again for those houses. A large number of these clients actually want to buy, and I can't sell because I don't have enough land to sell to everybody, and I don't really want every kind of person there. The idea is to have people there who really don't just love nature, but are willing to put, their hand in their pockets and take out some dollars and spend some money and energy on working with nature, not just using nature for their own profit and spitting on it, like most human beings do, collectively speaking, not pointing any fingers, but collectively speaking, all we ever do collectively, and as a society, as a worldwide global species, we're actually using nature and spitting on it at the same time, rather than actually living with it. So the idea was to find individuals, and it's quite hard work actually, because a lot of people say they want to do that, but they're not when it comes to spending money and energy and time on the farm. They're not willing to do that. So, but we've got like 6 or 7, 8 families that are doing a fabulous job together now and support each other and help each other. We work together on electricity, on water, on roads. So we've kind of collected, not that we depend on each other, but we help each other. Put it that way. It's a kind of a loose tribal system. But all of these people, including myself, we have companies, we're in society, we pay taxes. I pay taxes in 2 different places around the world. Most of these people travel the world that are there, so they bring back, information, ideas, technologies. So it's a modern digital tribe, I feel like, Yeah.
Occasionally, and the last couple of months, more and more, you're sharing with me your drawings, working on a new house or a new piece of furniture, or even a final pictures of the end product, tangible, physical one. Yeah. It's quite different in compared to most of the people that most probably here are listening, that things are very digital, not tangible, ideas, concepts that you can't hold in your hands. But I guess that there are some similarities between one and another, yeah. Very tangible, a farm in Brazil, people that you have to deal with, challenges, and of course also the fruits of your labor, of your work and love. So what are the parallels that you see between creating a retreat place like Sonho de Urso and building a, let's say, conscious digital brand from all of the experience with the place, Sonho de Urso?
Whether it's a house or the infrastructure, or whether it's a piece of furniture, is that process of the idea and what you're trying to achieve with that idea, the objective, the subject and the objective, and then actually putting it down on paper and not running with it. So not running with it because on the farm there are so many things to do. Most people will not be able to live on a farm because there are too many things to deal with. They'll run out of energy. When you invest the energy, like when I'm designing a house or when I'm designing a piece of furniture and redesigning 5 or 6 times, usually I'm up till 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't go to bed at 12 at night, and then I'm up at 6 or 7 in the morning. Yeah. So I think the simplest way to explain this is it's a labor of love, because you're creating it's like a baby situation, if you like. You have an idea, then you bring a baby into the world, and then you nurture it and you see it to the end. But you can do it maybe in 6 weeks if it's a piece of furniture. You can do it in 6 months to a year if it's a house. Yeah. From the concept from the idea to concept to planning it, to building it and finalizing it. It takes up a lot of energy to build your own furniture and make it where you really want it, or plan your own house and not necessarily have architects. I think one should always involve engineers, because they are mathematical calculations that I cannot do. that I need engineers. But certainly designing a house, anyone can do it if they take time, especially with the applications out there today. I mean, I tend to do it just the old classical way with a ruler and a compass and a pencil and a rubber. That's what I use if I'm designing a house. I don't use the applications, even though it's much more efficient to do it with applications. But again, you end up running with applications. The idea here is that it's a labor of love, and because you're putting your desire and you're enjoying that process. Yeah. Whether you sleep 4 hours or 10 hours or 8 hours or 7 hours, doesn't matter so much. Yeah, there's some kind of return energy you get from the sun, from the universe, from doing that in that way. It's like when we were kids, we were so excited about getting up the next day. We didn't need to sleep much. We couldn't sleep because life was so exciting. There's that element of excitement, of energy. It's like super rich. So we tend to, it's like, it's a life force. It's a life force. And I think if all marketing and all branding was done with that life force, or when it is done with that life force, it's fantastic. Those are taking time and real love, real energy for the brand, for the campaigns. I think this is where those are the agencies that actually go the distance and are around for decades. So this is where the parallels are. And I've got to say this, and some people will hate me for it, This doesn't mean anything. Again, this is a whole lot of bullshit unless one is practicing. To say, I'm going to, if you're not used to the labor of love and putting that extra in, and extra, and providing real value, long-term value, and then you say, I'm going to do that for the next campaign. Probability is 99%, 98% is not going to happen because you haven't got any past experience in your body, in your mind, in your blood of doing that on an energy level. We are energy balls. We are energy creatures. Without the energy, we are nothing. Without energy, the body will just collapse. So how to maintain this energy, how to then organize this energy, how to bring the best out of ourselves via this energy, it's an art. And nature, the forest and nature, shows us how to use that. So here's
So Paul, before we finish off today's episode, maybe now understanding very tangible world, Brazil, Sonho de Urso, and challenges and the good stuff also, and the digital, be it agency or what we are doing, digital tribe, or let's say if we use an example of small property owner or spa center in Europe, let's say Spain, Slovenia, more developed places, what would be advice for somebody, your advice, your honest advice, what to do and maybe what not to do to survive, and to be on the marketplace a bit longer?
It's not just to survive. What I will say is not simply to survive, is also to succeed in satisfaction, in health, possibly in business as well, possibly in money as well. I don't know. When it comes to millions and a lot of money, there are so many factors that it's not necessarily entirely in our hands. People, once you have a lot of money and assets, people want it. So there are all kinds of factors that are acting from the outside. But for personal success, I think the first thing is to create peace and quiet inside. That doesn't mean you stop walking, or doesn't mean you stop running when you need to run. But if you're going to run, if you're going to walk, if you're going to do something, do it with calm, do it with peace, bringing peace to the self. Because I cannot look at myself honestly and find my honesty in where I'm lying to myself if I haven't got this quiet and peace. And as long as I'm lying to myself about something little or something medium or something big, there are going to be issues, right? There are going to be issues. I'm going to have to fix this, fix that, or a relationship is not going to run the way I want it to run, or a project's not going to run the way I want it, or someone is going to say, you piece, you idiot, So working with one's own honesty is very difficult, very difficult. I won't say it's easy. All of us have issues with that. So how to do that? So if you find your own peace, your own quiet, which requires a practice of 2 hours a day, having your own quality time. That doesn't mean the wife and kids, and doesn't mean the company and the job. No, 2 hours on your own, peace, quiet, solitude, and slowly you find these. Each person can find their own peace and their own honesty, and I think that's the key. This inner quiet, this inner honesty. This is the way to success, to a holistic, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Paul, yeah, interesting. And maybe let's speak more about how in the next episode to go even in some other elements and ideas and practical examples from your experience of the place that you built and you're building.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. Yeah. Well, I think we are work in progress, and then we drop the body. So what happens after that? Well, yeah, we'll see. Matej, thank you very much for your love and your time, and look forward to the next time.
Look forward.